Hey everyone, welcome. Welcome to Law of Attraction Detox. Thanks for waiting. I ran over a little bit with a client and then I had to try to figure out how to make this thing start. So, I'm here. I'm present. Here on the Law of Attraction Detox, we detoxify from toxic techniques and instead discover our true nature in the present moment where all possibilities exist. And today's topic is about choose yourself and how to see major results. I'm going to talk a little bit about my own personal story about how I chose myself and I started to see massive shifts in my life. And choosing yourself is kind of a daily practice. It's something that you do every day. Um, choosing myself looks like fully being all in with my creation. You know, Neville Goddard talks about having a master within, but you can't choose two masters. So you cannot choose life doesn't work out for me and also choose I'm going to get what I want. So that's the kind of concept. So how do I choose myself in the moment? It looks like this. It looks like I have complete faith, I have complete trust, I have complete knowing. So therefore I can rest. I don't need to worry about how it's going to happen. I don't need to try to control or manipulate the process. All I need to do is get out of the way with the thoughts that would tell me anything otherwise. So when you have a thought, it comes up and you think, oh no, that's going to ruin my manifestation. And then that spirals you into this pit of despair, this feeling of terror, that the thing that you want is not going to happen because you had a thought that drove you away. And I just want to really challenge that because those thoughts are simply just thoughts. Those thoughts do indeed create a feeling, which can, if practiced often enough, create a state of being. And from that state of being, you create your world. So the thoughts are kind of just like sprinkles on a cupcake. You know, the thoughts are not the cupcake. The cupcake is the state of being. You know, the frosting is the feeling of love. And the sprinkles are just like the little thoughts that you have. Because honestly, when you get into the state of being at the present moment and you are just experiencing the bliss of this mundane reality that we call now, honestly, there aren't a lot of thoughts. I mean, there are thoughts that kind of come and like just random garbage, but thoughts are not the thing that help me create anything. I don't sit and think about how am I going to create this thing. I don't sit and think about how am I got to make this plan and this plan I got to like instead I allow myself to be naturally intuitively inspired. I allow myself to kind of just sit back, go with the flow. I allow myself to feel the feelings that I'm having without judgment. See, these are the things that are the equivalent of choosing myself. Okay, so I'm not choosing. Let's really clarify what is myself. Myself is not my thoughts. Myself is not how I feel. Myself is not the things I like or how I dress or any of those things I do. My true, authentic self is this infinite being that it's expanding out from within me. And I was just explaining this to a client today of what does it feel like to be in a state of being, of pure conscious awareness, of love. And it feels like the universe unfolding from me, from within me. It feels like my heart blasting open and experiencing everything with all of my senses. I feel completely in my body. You know, a lot of these practices of having you mindlessly affirm things or having you imagine some imaginal act, a lot of that stuff for me, it gets me further away from right here in my body. And if I'm not right here in my body, then I'm somewhere else. And if I'm somewhere else, then I can't be directed by my body's internal GPS system that is bringing me closer to what I want. Okay? And what I want to reiterate, is this state of being. I want this expanded state of ease and grace and flow. And if that means that this person has to be my partner. This place has to be my place to live. This car has to be in the car that I drive, and this amount of money has to be this amount of money. If that's what that means in order to me to continue expanding and experiencing this state of being, then I want whatever it is that's in alignment with that. I want whatever basically the universe, our creator, wants me to have in order to experience this state of being more. And maybe some of you are wondering, yeah, I know, I get it. How do I get there? I've read every book. I've learned everything there is to learn about how to be in the present moment. And what I'm going to say to you is then, good, now you have to put the pen to paper and you have to practice. You have to start practicing real time. And I always say, gently nudge yourself. It isn't a big monumental thing. I'm not saying, hey, go run a marathon tomorrow and you've never even ran 1 mile. Go run 10-mile marathon tomorrow and see how far you can get. That's not what I'm suggesting. I'm always going to suggest gently nudging yourself into a higher state of being, which higher, lower, around the corner, it's all just words. It's nonsense. It's your true nature. I'm gently nudging you into your true nature, that you already have that within you. It's already there. And when you choose that self, you choose that, boom, now you're in alignment with everything. Everything that you desire, that is going to create more of this feeling. So I get a little bit nervous about the creating very specific things, because it does help the mind to kind of want to grasp onto things and kind of try to control things. And I'm going to manipulate the way this thing goes. Blah, 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 blah. You know, that would be like me trying to write down every word that I'm going to say on this YouTube live and then memorize it and then spit it out in exactly the way that I had written it. That's not going to happen. And honestly, it would be kind of boring. And I'd probably be like reading flashcards and you would be really bored. So instead, what I'm suggesting is you have a general idea when you choose yourself of what that feels like. I feel whole and complete inside. I feel a sense of peace, a sense of ease. When I'm choosing myself, I'm saying, I know that my prayer is going to be answered. I know that my wish is fulfilled. I know that I don't need to try to figure anything out. I don't need to calculate equations. I'm going to be led at the right place at the right time. The next step that I lay down on the earth is going to have a paver put beneath it. Even if there's quicksand all around me, I'm going to step my foot out onto the next best step. And there's going to be a paver that forms beneath me. That's the level of trust that you have when you choose yourself, your true self, the true being within you. You stop choosing to believe the thoughts that come into your mind. You stop trying to chase them down and make them different out of fear that they're going to create something that you don't want. You stop trying to manipulate your circumstances, and you get into the state of ease and flow. Hi, Evelyn. Good day to you. Feel free to ask any questions. I'm just going to keep on rambling. Choosing yourself feels like freedom. It feels like every answer is already given before the problem even began. Every solution is found in love already, and love already exists before this problem ever existed. So therefore, the answer is already there. And the answer is always within love somehow. So choosing yourself also simultaneously means that you need to love yourself, even if it's freaking uncomfortable, because there's parts of yourself that you just don't want to see anymore. There's parts of yourself that you are just tired of. You're exhausted from the techniques that aren't working. You're exhausted from trying to manifest your life and it's not working. Therefore, I must be broken. Any of those thoughts, any of those things that you are believing on repeat, that you are just listening to without challenging, those right there, those are the things that are inhibiting you from being in the state of being where you already have everything that you desire. That's the truth. Oh, thank you, Laura Black. Thank you for the sharing. This feels amazing to me as well. So I'm glad that it resonates with you. When you are in that state of being where everything already exists that you desire, then you no longer need anything outside of you. You no longer need to see the proof of it in your 3D world. You no longer need to do techniques to get yourself to believe that something's on the way. You no longer need to imagine a person that you want wrapped around you. You don't need to do any of those things anymore because they start to happen naturally. You will start to notice that you naturally have a daydream, and it just kind of comes in, and it doesn't pull you out of your present moment. Instead, it keeps you here, but with the feeling of expansion in your heart that that person loves you so much and that you're going to be together, even if right now in the physical world you're not. And then you maintain that state of being by gently nudging yourself into a state of gratitude, gently nudging yourself into how grateful that you are that you get to experience the grace of self-love time and time again. That maybe you woke up and you didn't do your morning practice right away and you fell into the pit of despair, but you remembered, oh yeah, Kristen said, gently nudge myself into love today. Gently sit back and wrap my arms around myself just for a second. See how good that feels. Even if you feel like total crap. Oh, what is that doing? That is reprogramming your mind to be in a different state of being. And then once you reprogram your mind, your thoughts become different. And once your thoughts become different, you start to feel different. Anyone who's ever sat in a Vipassana, 10-day silent retreat? Anybody? When you sit in a silent retreat, you notice you have a feeling and then a thought. Or you have a thought and then you have a feeling. And those thoughts and those feelings play on each other. And if you are believing those thoughts that come into your mind, now you're believing that the way you feel is who you are, and that what you think is who you are. And so it becomes this pattern of self-fulfilling prophecy, a feedback loop that tells you that this must be who I am. And then from that state of being of whatever thoughts have been on replay your whole life, then you start to behave in a certain way. And if you start to behave in a certain way, then you start to create in a certain way. And yes, there are magical things that come to us, but it's only when we have eyes to see and ears to hear. And we don't have the eyes to see those things that we want unless we are practicing becoming aware of thoughts that are not us, practicing becoming aware of sensations and feelings in our body that are not us, because those things all go away when we die. When we die, we don't take with us this body. We don't take with us our experiences. So what's left? What's left is your consciousness, an ever-present feeling of love. That feeling of love, by the way, is beneath every negative emotion that you might experience. It's beneath every experience. It's only that our awareness is either aware of it or not. And so when you practice becoming aware of the thoughts and just letting them go by, little soft, white, fluffy clouds, little bunnies hopping in the yard, and not getting so attached to them and not getting so frantic that, oh no, they're going to fuck up my creation and I'm going to not manifest what I want. And instead realize that those are just the sprinkles on top of the cupcake. Those are not the cupcake. The whole treat is your state of being, your general dominant state of being. And just like the marathon analogy, again, I'm going to repeat myself. You're not going to go out and run a 10-mile marathon if you've never even ran a mile. So how do you practice this state of being? It is in the real time. It is in the real moment where you notice that this thought pattern has come. How many people have maybe not even noticed that their thoughts and their feelings are intimately connected? Start to become aware of that. Start to become aware of, I feel anxious, and how fast your mind will come up with something that's equivalent to that anxious feeling. I'm anxious. And your mind will instantly go to, yeah, that's because he or she isn't here. And they're probably with someone else, or your bank account is too low. So notice right away and break that circuit. And you break that circuit by just becoming aware of how you feel. Put one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly, maybe, and just feel the sensation of that anxiety or that fear or that depression or whatever it is that is coming through you. And I venture to say, even one more step. Instead of calling it depression or anxiety or my anxiety, my thoughts. Just notice the sensations of it. I feel heaviness on my chest. I feel a pressure in my stomach. These are a lot of the things that I'm doing with you on this channel. A lot of the things that I'm doing with my clients. I'm helping them recognize how they feel in the moment. What thoughts are they associating with those feelings? Because once we harness those and we collect that into a little barrel, and we're like, okay, now I know these are the thoughts and the feelings and all of the beliefs that I've held within me that are keeping me stuck in this state of being. So, how about I just take a look at them and send them love? Because love is, again, the most potent solution. It is the most powerful medicine to any problem that we have. So how about I take this little cup that has been creating a state of being, and I fill it with love. And you'll notice it starts to shift. Again, it's a gentle nudging, gently nudging yourself. Hey, I hear that you're worried that your person might be with someone else right now, or they're not going to come back, and they're not choosing you. And just like, I got you. I love you. And guess what? You just practice being in the state of being where your desire is already made manifest within you. That, my friend, is how you manifest. The techniques and all the things, they are secondary to going in and uncovering what has been blocking you, clogging your creation from happening. What is keeping that creation from coming out and being made into a reality out here? It's your perception of the world and how it looks. It's your perception of yourself. It's your beliefs about what you think is possible, about what you believe and think about the world. Now, I'm not trying to say let's be delusional, and pretend like I can fly and then jump off a cliff and, oh shoot, I can't fly. But what I am saying is there are so many different ways to perceive a situation, that your little one way of perceiving a situation is just one way of perceiving a situation. And so when we open up with curiosity, choosing ourselves means opening up with curiosity about a situation. How might I be able to perceive the situation differently? And I love it when I'm sitting with a client and they're like, oh yeah, that person never cared about me. They didn't love me as much as I loved them. And I challenge that right away. And I thought, how do you know? Well, because then he or she would be here. Well, how do you know they're not just afraid and traumatized and that's why they've chosen to not commit to you? How do you know that maybe they feel like you're too good for them and they'll never be able to live up to your standards because you're so amazing? So challenging those thoughts becomes easy when you are living in a state of being that is predominantly one of trust, predominantly one of love for yourself and for the world and for our creator. Predominantly one of knowing that everything kind of just works out naturally. You're living proof that life works out. If you have a body, you worked out, right? You worked it out. If you have a roof over your head, hey, even better. Gently living in a state of gratitude, gently living in a state of just curiosity, enjoying the mundane moment, even though you might be addicted to the highs and the lows of trying to get what you want, not getting it, trying to get what you want, not getting it, trying to get what you want, not getting it. You might be addicted to this roller coaster ride. It's like, woo, up and down, up and down, up and down. And over here, I'm like on this path that's just one foot at a time, but it's so much more rewarding and so much more fulfilling. It would be like going through the most beautiful piece of nature that you can think of, but you're flying through in a Ferrari as fast as you can, and you don't see any of it. That's the addiction to the highs and the lows of life. I want what I want, but I didn't get it. I want to have this, but I didn't get it. And when you slow down for a minute, become aware of your thoughts, become aware of your feelings, do the hard work. You all know the work. You all are knowledgeable beyond belief. Now it's just the practicing, practicing, practicing. And what does that look like in the woods if you were in the most beautiful place in the world? It would look like taking one step and then stopping and being in awe at how beautiful maybe this exotic bird is, or how amazing this, look at this tree, how it grew around this thing and then zigzagged back and is shining up onto the into the into the way above in the canopy, right? Those things that you wouldn't notice if you were flying through life in a Ferrari, which symbolically to me means distracting yourself from how you feel, trying to do techniques so that you can ignore doing this work, trying to do a visualization so that you can visualize your person with you, but inside of you, you don't have a belief system that's even possible for you. Inside of you, you feel like, I'll never be loved. I'll never be worthy of this. Those things right there will block and clog up your creation. And I venture to say that from that state of being of I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, I don't get what I want. From that state of being, how can you be so sure that what you desire is actually meant for you? How can you be so sure that this person's your soulmate if your state of being is one of I don't deserve love? So maybe you're lined up with this person that you really desire because it's lined up with a state of being that doesn't deserve to be loved, and that's why they're showing up and they don't love you. But again, who am I to know? I'm not a psychic. So maybe this person is your person. But the only way to find out is to do this work, to step in, choose yourself, step into yourself, experience the feelings, experience the thoughts, and just be there with love and gratitude. Be there with gently nudging yourself. And I'm going to just go on a repeat, keep looping myself. If you have any questions, feel free. I'm going to get off here in about 5 minutes. If there's anything that I didn't clarify on, I'm happy to do so. Now you're in a state of being, let's say. You predominantly are in this state of being. You've been practicing, not just reading or watching YouTube videos. You're practicing all of these steps, getting into your body, feeling yourself, loving yourself, doing what excites you, being grateful for the world that you do have, even if it's not the way you want it, accepting yourself the way that you are, even if it's not how you want to be yet. Once you get into that state and the world starts to expand and you start to feel your consciousness becoming aware of more things, you'll start to notice things that you maybe didn't even notice before. You'll start to interpret people differently. You'll start to interpret that person smiled at me instead of maybe you saw it as a scowl. You'll start to interpret life differently. And then from that state of being, your desires might even shift. What you thought you wanted maybe is something different now, because that is actually more in alignment. What I want a stable person to show up in my life, to choose me, to want to commit and be on this path with me. I don't want someone to come in and love bomb me. And, I don't want someone to come in and be half in, half out. I want a person who shows up for me because I know that's what I deserve, because that's what I give and I bring to the table. And I only deserve someone that is equal to that. I only deserve that. And then you'll figure out from there what direction to head. Oh, you know what? I just got an intuitive hit. I'm going to go and join this certain group. I've always wanted to learn how to weave baskets under the water. And so I'm going to join this group, and y'all are floating under the water. And suddenly, after a few months, you get to know this person and oh my God, there's your soulmate. You thought it was going to take years to find, and they were just right there. And that's all from a gentle shift of perception, a gentle shift of awareness into the world is loving. I get what I want. I deserve to have what I want. I deserve to be loved. I'm lovable and loving. Everything around me is filled with magic. Everything around me is here to help me grow and expand. And if I'm here growing and expanding, then I get to be of service to other people, and I get to help inspire them to greater heights. I get to help other people know themselves. I get to give compliments to other people because I get to love them and see them, and they get to be witnessed, and then I get to be witnessed. And it's just like I could keep going on with how beautiful and abundant life is. I hope this was helpful today. I love you so much with all my heart. I would like to start doing these live chats on the membership page and do a full hour, really get deep down into it. Comment below if there's any specific topics that you would like or need me to go in depth about. These things have so many details. It's so simple, but yet there's so many complexities to it. And I have so many different avenues and ways around getting to the core. If you want to work with me, I'd love to work with you. It's one of the most exciting things that I get to witness is when I get to watch someone have a breakthrough and they realize this is the thing that was holding them back. I still have the 3-pack hypnosis. Anybody? Get a hold of me because that's only on sale for like 6 more days or something like that. So a 3-pack of hypnotherapy sessions. You get basically a powerhouse of sessions. You're going to have a complete makeover, spiritually speaking. Thank you, Space and Pitch. I am feeling better. I'm still like getting caught up on sleep though, but I'm definitely feeling better. Thank you for your well wishes. Love you so much, and keep tuned for the course that I'm about to launch. I'm a little nervous to do it because it's kind of, it's me in videos. Wait a minute, that's what I already do. But these videos will be very specific about the tools and the things that I do. So it's a little bit more vulnerable and intimate for me. And that'll be dropped next week sometime. So let me know if you're interested in that too. And good. Thank you for everyone. Thank you for all your well wishes. Thank you for being on. And I'll see you next week around the same time. Yes, it's been going through, it's the cold, the crud ran through everyone. I'm happy you're feeling better. So much love to you all. See you next week.